It's a new way for City of Topeka leaders to hear concerns of employees and continued work addressing the homelessness issue. Welcome into the Red Couch Rewind. I'm your host, Melissa Bruner. We are recapping some of the top guests you have heard on our Eye on Northeast Kansas TV show. You can catch it live 4 o'clock Central Time, Monday through Friday in our WIBW studios in Topeka, Kansas, on air or online, streaming on our WIBW mobile apps and our Roku or other streaming apps as well. Topeka Mayor Spencer Duncan took office in January, and when he took office, he said, you know what? I want to make a monthly time to come in and update folks on your show, and that's what he has been doing. His most recent visit came after Spencer Duncan announced a new initiative for employees to have their complaints reviewed. It involves a third party, and it is stemming from some recent concerns that have been raised. So Mayor Duncan visited the show to outline why he thought this was so vital. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Welcome.
I do want to start with that independent review that you announced. So at the Mayor City Managers News Conference, I believe it was last week, time flies when you're having fun, right? But you talked about an independent third-party review of some complaints that city workers have been expressing. Specifically, we know there have been some discussions about the utilities department. Why did you decide this extra step needed to be taken? Because I would imagine the city looked into what the concerns were, or no?
We did, and their complaint at its core was that we did our process, but our process couldn't be trusted. And so their concerns came forward over multiple months. We had a councilwoman who continued to bring those forward to the council and ask, can something be done here? I tell people in my capacity as a council person, it's very different in my capacity as mayor. I'm now in the office, so I can take another step that says, okay, if that's gotten loud to the point where we really need to look at our own processes and how we've handled things, let's do that. Let's take a look at that so that those folks can have their concerns answered by someone who's not associated with the city at all. And we'll take a look at some other things not associated with utilities. If we're going to do it, let's look at a wide swath. And I tell folks, this isn't about going after people. It is about looking at our processes. Did we do everything correctly? Were there real concerns there? If there are, I told that independent reviewer, you tell us and we're going to fix them. This isn't so we can pretend it didn't happen and shove it in a drawer later. It's to actually address the problem.
When you speak about broadening it, what does that exactly mean? Because we know there was this one set of complaints. Are you having them look at just processes overall then, or in relation to some
We have other
concerns?
cases that over the last 2 years may have been reviewed by our own internal folks, and so it's a good chance to say, I think the review was perfectly fine, but since we're doing this, let's pick some other random ones so that we get a better sample size of all of those processes. So it doesn't look like, because it's not intended to be just on that issue. It'll address that issue that's being brought forward. But again, if we're doing it, why not do it while we've got the hood up a little bit and take a look all around?
What could ultimately come out of this?
Probably some changes maybe to how we do things. If that's first of all, I guess the first thing is maybe nothing. Maybe that independent review says, good for you, you handled this yet. We understand why people are upset. How can you address that? But maybe there's other processes we need to change. Maybe there's a different way we need to do our internal reviews, right? Those are the kind of things I think that could come out of it. I really don't mean this to be in the middle. I really have tried to tell that reviewer, I don't want to drive this or try to have any influence over it at all. I want to hand it off to the professional and let the professional take it from there so that they can't come back and say, rightfully so, you influenced this, you got the result you wanted.
What could be the likelihood that we see some sort of a permanent outside review process or procedure implemented?
So I think there are discussions right now in certain departments, i.e. our police department, on how we can continue to use things we already have in place, like the Civil Service Commission, Human Relations Council, to review police concerns. So there's one area where I can specifically say we're looking at that now and hope to have something soon on that process. So I think that could be a model for how we look at individual departments. We also have 7 different unions which cover more than half our employees, and each one of those has a process in place to how we're supposed to address these issues. So it may be taking another look at the union and say, is this process working? And if not, let's fix it when we're doing those union negotiations.
All right, let's talk about the ongoing situation with Hotel Topeka. Yeah, we finally got a date.
Close.
We have a date now,
June
right?
15th.
June 15th.
And I see no reason we should veer from that. Knock on something, please.
What would happen after that? Like, once it changes hands, does the city truly say, okay, bye, see ya? Or what else is going to happen to ensure? I mean, first of all, I guess from a taxpayer standpoint, you'll have to ensure that CID is a success, because otherwise the city doesn't get its money back, which is already a complaint that we're hearing is,
Absolutely.
my gosh, the city is selling it for way, way less than they made, thinking that they're going to get the money back, or counting on the fact that it's going to be, the CID is going to be profitable.
Which is why it was critical to us to get a partner who's going to take over that hotel, who knows what they're doing, who has a history of success, which the Endeavor Group does, including another facility here in Topeka. So we're going to be confident that his history is going to show us he can get the job done here. So on June 15th, it will all go into the private hands. He will have a management agreement with the county for Manor because they will continue to own Manor Conference Center, and then
the county will continue to own Manor. The contract will keep existing.
Right, but they have to have
hotel.
an agreement to utilize the two, and from there, the renovations will begin. In fact, he did a presentation to us that said, "I'm ready. The minute I get the thing, I'm ready to put in new beds and start work on it right away and take charge." So the piece that we will still have in that is we will be taking over some of those incentives, not the developer. They will come back to the city to pay off what bond we have left on the purchase of the hotel.
Okay.
And that's how we're going to pay the taxpayers back.
Big headline this summer, going into the summer months, is that I-70 is going to shut down through downtown Topeka. From a city level, what are some of the things, if you can here in these last few seconds, big picture to ensure that it doesn't become detrimental to downtown, or how are you trying to see opportunity?
We've worked very closely with KDOT and our own professionals to make sure that all the alternate routes are going to be open and active and usable.
You're telling me Highway 24 is going to be fully rebuilt by the time I-70 closes?
No, I don't think it. I mean, around the downtown area.
Okay.
The routes around downtown. No, I've told people, let's be very clear. When they tear that down, it is going to be a little chaotic for about 6 to 8 months. Let's not even sugarcoat it. But we promise on our end, we will make sure that all those alternate routes are open and easily, accessible to people.
And I've heard somebody say before, this could be an opportunity because people have to come through town now.
It is.
And maybe they'll
it's going to
look
great once it's done. I promise. It's going to be wonderful, a wonderful entryway into that part of the city. But we just got to.
I like your word, chaotic.
It
for
will be
6 to 8 months. There's the admission.
I'm not even going to pretend otherwise.
Spencer Duncan, appreciate you being here. Obviously, that is a process. We'll be keeping you up to date, as well as all those other things that Mayor Duncan announced. Always something going on in the great capital city of Kansas. One topic that a lot of folks around the capital city have been struggling with really for many, many years, and we're not alone in this, homelessness. What do we do to assist people who are homelessness in making a journey beyond homelessness if they so choose? And that is what has been happening. One idea that came out of a lot of sessions was this one-stop shop concept where people can get services together. It finally is becoming a reality, and we had Barry Feaker of Compassion Strategies join us in the studio along with LaManda Cunningham, the executive director of the Topeka Rescue Mission, to let us know what one-stop shop developments are going to be happening in Topeka. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so it's the Compassion Impact Center?
Yes.
Is that the right name?
That's
so this starts with Compassion Strategies, and what's kind of the history and the genesis of this idea?
So post-pandemic, or kind of towards the end of it, we saw a need to take services out to the unsheltered in the community because Topeka Rescue Mission had to get smaller due to social distancing, the COVID regulations. So we began to understand you bring a lot of people together, try to get where the homeless are, then you can basically be a game changer in regards to them having barriers addressed to break those barriers down. Started out very basic with showers, mobile food, those kind of things. So over the years we've said, okay, as we gain more support, more agencies working together, Topeka Rescue Mission has been one of the founders of that, of course, that what we can do is do better inside somewhere. Then we're all year round, we don't have to be mobile, bring the homeless to us or get them to us. And so we've been piloting that since last year. And finally, we found a home, and that's Topeka Rescue Mission again. And so been working with LaManda, her board, our board working together, a lot of different people working together. And the announcement yesterday was that the former Children's Palace is going to be the Compassion Impact Center as a one-stop shop.
And we do have video of yesterday's announcement, and everyone gathered there. About how many people does this bring together, LaManda, and why does it make sense to do this at TRM?
Sure. You know, when you look at what partnerships are available with Impact Avenues and the Moving Ahead Partnership, there's over 60 to 70 partner agencies that are coming together to make this happen. And so we're really excited. The Topeka Rescue Mission has provided specific things with the Moving Ahead Partnership, such as volunteer recruitment and training. We help with the food, lots of aspects like that. But it was one of those things that we knew we needed to move this forward. And so we evaluated what we needed to do, and didn't seem like there was anyone else that could really step up and say, okay, we're ready at this time to be the brick and mortar for Impact Avenues and Moving Ahead Partnership. And so after a lot of prayer and discussion and really strategizing, it was just a no-brainer that we needed to do this.
I would imagine it makes sense too, you know, ever since the Children's Palace had to not necessarily closed. You were still making use of that space
Sure.
in some way, but not the way the original intention was. So you did have space available.
Yes.
And a way to reimagine that space now.
And what we've had to do, and I'm so thankful for my board and my staff, because all of the space is currently being used. And so our staff are about to embark on a 6 to 8 month transition into the distribution center, our warehouse, the Hope Center, the main shelter, so that we can realign our operations to make room for Impact Avenues and MAP.
The one-stop shop, the resource center, has been part of a lot of the task force recommendations and things that we've heard. The consultants, all of them talked about. Does this satisfy what they were talking about in all of those reports?
This is a complete satisfaction, in our opinion, of being able to create this piece of the campaign to end chronic homelessness. This is one essential component. Another essential component is outreach, to be where the homeless are in the encampments or wherever. Get them to a place like this, help them to get the resources they need, and then move on into the Topeka Rescue Mission, or yet to be developed, some additional shelter, which we're going to be calling Safe Rest Shelter, and then creating affordable housing. What this does is it puts a spotlight on the things that we don't have, that we need to have, that we as a community will have to address and be very serious if we want to end chronic homelessness.
How do we still fill the gap, though, of those who perhaps didn't want to go to, for whatever reason, maybe don't want to go to TRM, but maybe we're more comfortable to going to a more outdoor setting, informal thing like MAP started out as? How do we not leave them behind and still get services to them?
I think the key there is relationship. So TRM has served an incredible purpose over many, many years now. Of people who are ready for that kind of help. And so it's been the emergency shelter 24/7, but it's also been the long-term, for lack of a better term, restoration and rehabilitation. Not everybody's ready for that, and so what we found, though, is what we call the chronic homeless, the people who maybe been unsheltered for many, many years, won't come in a congregate facility. If we make a positive interaction with them on many, many different occasions where they are, get them to a place that we're calling the Moving Ahead Partnership, the one-stop shop, now the Compassion Impact Center as the facility, then you have an opportunity to see them move into housing. Had a conversation with 2 people today. They're getting their housing next week. I don't know if you heard that. A couple that is just awesome. Been off and on homeless for 10 years on the streets, and they cannot believe they're getting housing. But they had to build trust. We had to build a rapport with them to be able to get them. They come to the one-stop shop now every single week, every single time, rather. And they volunteer, and they're still unsheltered, but next week they're coming into their housing, and they are like, can't believe this is happening.
Those are the good things you want to hear. When can people start going to the resource, the Impact Center?
So we're going to pivot from the Salvation Army. We're really thankful that they have been such a great host to the Moving Ahead Partnership and Impact Avenues, but we're going to pivot April 7th to the Children's Palace to begin the transition of the Compassion Impact Center.
All right, well, we will keep everyone posted as those things develop and as more things come forward. Barry, Lamanda, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Of course, having a place to find those resources, you need a place to actually find to live that you can afford in order for it to do a whole lot of good. And that is why the Topeka Rescue Mission Ministries continue studying the varying levels and types of housing that may be needed in our community. And we had Miriam Kriebel and Crystal Guerrero from TRM join us to update how those conversations are going. Welcome to you.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. There has been a lot kind of going on behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, not just with TRM, but you guys are routinely getting with community partners. How wide of the scope is it? When we talk about housing, it's not just one thing.
No, housing is huge, right? And honestly, it might be the most favorite thing I have at TRM, because we're really helping people come off the streets and regain their lives and be able to re-enter into housing that we all kind of take for granted. So there's lots of pieces to this, with us helping them get documentation and that, but it's also about working with landlords to give people that second chance to be able to be housed and be successful in housing.
So step one, of course, is what the shelter does as a shelter, and that's providing the emergency nightly shelter, roof over the head. But your goal, right, Crystal, is that people aren't coming back there.
Correct.
The goal is not for people to stay there long term. So what happens when they arrive at the shelter or otherwise access TRM services to then take the next step?
Well, it's a whole lot of
is it like support programs? Do people need different skills to get into a house of their own or an apartment of their own?
Yeah. I mean, it just is one step at a time. You know, it doesn't just happen overnight. You have to follow through with commitment. Lots of
Yeah, taking care of debt and that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
You know, making sure that if they had evictions, how are we helping them get past that? How are we helping them save money? How do we help them learn those life skills that all of us have to be able to really be able to be successful? You know, how to be a good renter. Right? Those are all things, how to take care of a house. If you've been on the street for a long time, those are not exactly the skills that you've been utilizing a lot. So it's really about making sure that they can be successful, and so we're really their support system as well.
What are the resources available as they are learning those skills? So, and I guess by that I mean, does someone come into the shelter and then they stay there while they're learning those skills, or what partners are there that maybe are kind of that transitional, so that you're not actually staying within the walls of TRM, but you still have somewhere else as you then maybe move on to yet another step?
Yeah, we have the life skill classes,
Okay.
and several different agencies throughout Topeka come out and speak with the guests and just try to move them forward and having understanding their rights, their law, the rights to housing, that kind of thing.
As renters. And you mentioned, Miriam, too, working with landlords. So how many partners
Sure.
do you have in terms of being able to, people who are willing to take in folks who maybe don't have that credit history or stable rental history that maybe a landlord, that some landlords look for?
Sure, absolutely. There is probably 10 or 12 different landlords that we can reach out to at any time to see if they have openings, to see if it's a good fit for the person, if it's affordable for the person that we're trying to place in housing. So a lot of different things, but I think, Melissa, it really goes beyond that too. So once people are housed, then Crystal and her team are really reaching back out to be able to make sure that people can stay in housing. So if they have difficulties, if they need a referral to Astra, if they need food, we'll help them with that. So it's about really following them for about a year after we've placed them in housing, so that we make sure that they can be successful.
And you help them get the things to outfit their house as well, is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
What kind of resources do you have there?
It's a completion of program. It's based on donations, so donations are very important. But yes, we help them. It's a beautiful day. We help them with getting beds, with getting all the kitchen supplies, all the household items, couches, dressers, TVs, microwaves.
So donors can help with all of
Yes.
that. And then, the final piece, homeownership. We're hearing a lot right now about increasing the amount of affordable housing. How are those programs going, and how are those talks progressing?
I think that is a significant challenge for the whole community to take a look at, because while affordable housing is a piece of that, it's really housing across the board that then helps there to be affordable housing as well. So I think those talks cannot happen frequent enough. There just needs to be a lot of focus on, do we have enough housing in general in Topeka and Shawnee County, and how do we all play a part in making sure that that happens?
All good things. And of course, it's one thing to have a land bank, then you have to have people willing to go and do that type of housing provision.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to be able to have developers that are willing to develop that. And that then brings, different kind of ordinances or different ways that city council can help with that as well. So it's complicated when you think about it. It's not just about going and building a house kind of thing.
It makes sense. So there's a lot that continues to go on. I appreciate you telling us about the programs already in place and how people can get a hold of those. Access TRM if you'd like to ask more, trmonline.com. Thank you. .org.
.org.
I'll have the link online as well. Thank you both. Appreciate you. If you follow 13 News and WIBW, you know that we touch base on this issue all the time. So keep it tuned in, and we'll kind of get a look at what has been happening in addressing the homelessness conversations. We also had our point in time numbers revealed here over the past couple of weeks. You can find that story on our website as well to see the numbers have kind of stayed stable really over the past couple of years. So folks have been weighing in on that as well. All right, we've got a lot of great issues that are coming up and ways that people in our community can get help with some various challenges, including brain injury. Stay tuned. We are going to tell you about a conference for survivors along with professionals when the Red Couch Rewind returns. Welcome back into the Red Couch Rewind. March was Brain Injury Awareness Month, and we don't stop spreading the message just because March has ended. The Brain Injury Association of Kansas actually has a conference coming up in the city of Topeka. But the issue itself really goes beyond any one city's borders. We had Heather Carbaugh join the show. She is with the Brain Injury Association of Kansas. Their conference is coming up in Topeka, as I mentioned, and it is one that's not just for professionals to earn their continuing education. They really want to send a message and support to survivors and their families. Heather told us how they're going to do it. Welcome to you.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
We did just wrap up Brain Injury Awareness Month in the month of March. How common are brain injuries?
Well, they're quite common. In fact, in Kansas, we have about more than 20% of Kansans have a traumatic brain injury, and so that's not even accounting for acquired brain injuries that we're not tracking.
So speaking of those traumatic brain injuries, what types of things can cause a traumatic brain injury? I imagine it's more than most people realize.
Oh, it is, absolutely. So any kind of blunt force trauma to your head, a concussion, any type of injury to the head can cause a traumatic brain injury.
I mean, you can just fall the right way.
Yes.
How do you know something's going on?
Well, definitely you want to have your medical provider look and make sure you see what's happening, but you're going to know because your memory is going to change, possibly you're going to have some differences with your vision, all sorts of things like that.
But you as a patient may not admit it.
Oh, many times you're not going to admit it because we're taught in society to kind of pull ourselves up and be fine.
As
right?
a loved one, what might we notice then?
Well, we're going to notice some deficits and some changes, and so it's important to make sure if there's any kind of fall or accident that we're making sure we're having neurochecks, that we're getting to the doctor, getting to the emergency room immediately. It's better to be safe than sorry later.
And then you mentioned something called an acquired brain injury?
Yep.
So what's that?
All brain injuries are technically acquired after birth, and so either they are traumatic with something blunt force externally, or internally would be an acquired something that's not traumatic. So an illness, something that can cause a stroke, those types of things we had acquired.
So you're there to make sure people know that they don't have to suffer alone, I imagine.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And how does that conference, the conference you have coming up next month, it's already April.
It's April.
This month, how does that play into offering that support and knowledge?
In a huge way, because we have been around since 1982 providing services to brain injury survivors and their families. And so this conference, this particular year, is going to be our 17th annual conference. But historically, we've done them separately, where we've had survivors and families attending different educational opportunities, and then professionals with this event. This year, we're going to bring everybody together in Topeka, capital city, and we're going to have survivors and families join as well, so that everybody can be a part of the conversation. They can meet the providers across the state that are providing services, and really connect with other survivors and caregivers. So,
what are some of the topics that you will cover?
Well, we're going to cover all kinds of topics such as self-advocacy, awareness, like we just mentioned, about things that are happening with your brain, caregiver supports. We're going to have Secretary Howard's going to be there talking about the state of brain injury resources across the state regarding waiver services and stuff of that nature.
How important is knowing about those resources?
Oh, it's critically important. I've met many survivors over the years that have no idea that resources even exist. Many of them are living with this virtually invisible disability and doing life alone. When they find out that there are many supports to them, they're so relieved.
How do you find those supports? Besides coming to the conference and learning all about them firsthand
yes.
from the folks that you're going to have there,
Yes.
what are some other ways that we
Yes.
can find information?
Well, I'd love for you to share our website. We're biaks.org, and we are a hub for resources across the state. And so we exist for that purpose, to make sure we can link folks together with resources that are going to support them through their lifetime. So our website's a great touch point for that.
I know that part of what you cover at the conference, particularly for some of the sessions geared toward professionals, are advances, like the latest and greatest of what we've learned. What is some of the latest and greatest? How far have we come?
Well, we have a lot of discussion around advancements, but one of the things we're going to be talking about is how the CDC has now recognized brain injury as a chronic health condition and not just a one-time event. And so we have a lot of opportunities with medical model to ensure that insurance providers and medical providers are able to carry out that chronic health condition practice throughout the lifetime of the survivor.
It is a 2-day conference, so
Yes.
should everybody go to both days, or how are you kind of arranging this?
Yeah, well, it's intended for 2 days for the professionals who are seeking education in their field of study related to brain injury, and then for survivors to join the professionals on day 2. I will tell you, there are many brain injury survivors who are working as professionals in the field, which is wonderful, and so they'll be at both days.
I did notice on the registration, we can put up the dates. It's April 16th and 17th. You do say Friday for survivors, Friday only. Is that if they just want to have a reduced fee?
Yep, there's a reduced fee for survivors who aren't working in the brain injury field that just want to come for the Friday session. And if there is any issue in financing for that, we want to make sure survivors can come. So there's a little button on our website for registration that says click here for scholarship information. It'll get to me directly and I'll visit with those folks.
There's a little bit of a lower fee for students as well, for $150 for both days. Professionals, $300. Again, BIA, Brain Injury Association, Kansas, KS.org is where you go to find that. Maynard Conference Center in Topeka is the location. So much good information out there, and I think awareness is key for folks to realize that there is help out there.
Yes.
And you have it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming in and letting us know about it. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
As Heather mentioned, the conference itself is coming up April 16th and 17th in Topeka, but if you don't want to attend the conference or can't attend for whatever reason, or perhaps you just want to find some resources at any time, go to their website. She mentioned it verbally. I'll repeat it here again, BIAKS.org. We have another great organization in the Topeka area. It's actually based in Meriden, Kansas. It's just north of Topeka in Jefferson County. Woolly Farms is what it is called, and they help folks, young adults in particular, with a variety of developmental disabilities or challenges, different abilities, with having things to do to stay engaged and become involved in their community and in their lives. That takes support, though, and they have that coming up with the Woolly Farms Gala. It's just around the corner, April 17th. However, I think you're going to enjoy hearing from our next friends who visited the studio, the director of Woolly Farms, Jackie Gomez. But she brought along two of their friends, members of Woolly Farms. They call them their friends. We made friends with them as well. Cameron Homewood and Ryan Wells told us what Woolly Farms means to them. I want to start, first of all, is that okay if I start with Jackie with a question? Okay. So, Jackie, what is Woolly Farms all about for those who maybe haven't heard about you?
Woolly Farms is a program for adults with diverse abilities. Like you just said, so we are a place where they can come and be themselves, have a lot of fun, make friends, and they work on life skills, work skills, our work initiative program that we have. It's just a really great place for them to come and hang out and build community.
Fantastic. Ryan, what do you do at Woolly Farms?
We have a lot of lessons, like life skills.
Do you work?
Yes.
Where do you work?
I work at Crush Academy, which is our daycare place.
Fun.
And then I also work at Boone and Bounty.
Nice. Do you serve up ice cream there?
Sometimes.
It's like my favorite thing. Cameron, what do you do at Woolly Farms?
Work at Boone Bounty. Ice cream, coffee.
Ice cream and coffee?
Yeah.
Are you part of the Scoop Troop?
Yes.
So that means you get to go out and serve ice cream all over town?
Yeah.
Do people know that? They can
Yeah.
hire you to come and serve ice cream.
Yeah.
And you bring the ice cream to them?
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Cheesecake.
Oh, you knew that right away. Cheesecake, no hesitation there at all. Do you have a lot of friends at Woolly Farms?
Yes.
What do you guys like to do together?
We go up, dance.
Dancing.
With friends.
With your friends.
Yeah.
So speaking of dancing, there's a gala coming up. Are you going to go?
Yes.
What are you going to wear to the gala?
I'm going to wear this off-the-shoulder dress.
Ooh, you've already got it picked out?
There's no straps to it, actually.
And you're going to be dancing at the gala?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know there's going to be dancing at the gala. Jackie, what else is going to happen at the Woolly Farms Gala?
It's going to be really great this year. So we're going to have plated steak dinners, lots of drinks, lots of dancing, and a lot of member interaction.
And they get to come and be part of it.
Yes, they are the highlight of the show that night. So we'll roll out the red carpet, treat them like royalty because they are so very special and they deserve a night to shine.
Absolutely.
So it'll be a lot of fun.
And how important is the gala to what Woolly Farms is able to achieve? What does the money raised allow you to do?
So the money raised at the gala, which is our biggest fundraiser of the year, allows us to expand programming, expands how many members that we can take in. And our big thing this year is we're hoping to move into a new home. So it is for getting that building ready for the long term, so we can just kind of grow over time there. And it's going to open up opportunities for programming. We're going to get to do a lot of different new things.
Is the building still going to be there in Meriden?
It is going to be in Meriden, just down the street from where we currently are. We've just kind of outgrown the building that we've been in, and we're ready for something new, something long lasting, and looking forward to the future.
Who qualifies for Woolly Farms? Because you're based in Meriden, and I know that the initial goal was giving adults with special abilities in Jefferson County a place to go. Is that still the primary area?
No, actually.
Nice.
But having said that, we are a place for people coming out of high school that don't have a lot of opportunities, maybe. And so we are getting people from Topeka. I want to say most of our members now come in from Topeka to us. We do have Meriden members. We've got people that drive in from near Manhattan. So that's a pretty big deal. So we don't just serve Meriden. We really do serve the area, the Topeka area.
And going to the gala and helping and donating is a way that you can extend that reach even further as they move into a larger facility. 6 o'clock, Friday, April 17th is when all the fun gets underway at Veris Aviation at Forbes Field. Sponsorships are currently available. Go to woollyfarms.org. Keep in mind, Woolly is spelled with 2 L's at woollyfarms.org. I'm going to put a direct link to the sponsorship page as well. Individual ticket sales begin March 17th, so you can get your individual tickets then. I imagine you're going to be dressed up as well, Cameron. We already asked Ryan what she's wearing. You going to be all fancy? Okay, so go and watch Ryan and Cameron bust a move, as they say, dancing at the Woolly Farms Gala. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate meeting you. And thank you, Jackie,
Thank you. Thank you.
The Woolly Farms Gala is April 17th. If you can't make it, but you'd like to learn more about Woolly Farms, maybe getting involved as a volunteer, or there's a young adult in your life who could benefit from becoming a member, be sure to check out their website. Our Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library can help you check out just about anything, books, movies, DVDs, whatever you want. They also have some great friends who come to visit them, and that includes authors. An upcoming author visit is going to be one with some great timing. Brad Taylor is coming to town April 22nd, the day before his latest novel in his series comes out. Katie Moss with Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library told us a little bit more about that story. I feel like this is almost like a book release party for him.
I know, right?
Who is the author?
His name is Brad Taylor. He is retired military. He was on Delta Force and he served in the Middle East wars. So
he's a veteran. How does he
Yes.
draw on those experiences in the characters he brings to life?
Well, I saw an interview that he did where he shared that a lot of the things in the books that he writes, because this is his 20th book in his Pike Logan series. So,
oh my goodness.
So he's written several novels, and they're all like very suspenseful and they pull you in and keep you turning those pages. But he shared that that all of his novels, the things that happen in them are things that really would happen, like in real life, as someone who is covertly, supporting
doing an operation
yes,
somewhere.
Yeah. But maybe just not at the same intensity or the same pace. So yeah, I think that we got to keep turning those pages so that the intensity is high, but he knows his stuff for sure. He knows his stuff.
And what about the timing on this one, on this appearance in Topeka?
I'm so excited about this. So his new book is called Shadow Strike. And like I said, it's the 20th book in the series, and it comes out the day before our event. So I haven't even gotten to read it yet. So we're all very excited to host him and have him promote his new book at our library. So.
What is the cool thing about having authors come in person and talk about their work?
I feel like we're so lucky that we usually get to host 2 great authors a year, like national best-selling authors, plus a lot of local authors too. But it's so interesting to be able to hear their perspective and really get a feel for their stories and what inspires them and how they sort of develop their stories and their process. And I think you can watch YouTube videos or whatever, other interviews with authors, but being in the same room with them and having the opportunity to ask a question at the end of the presentation and just really connect, I think is a great unique opportunity that you don't get every day.
No, the national best-selling authors, that's made possible by Friends of the Library,
Yes,
correct? How do
yes.
people sign on to that, and how do we support Friends of the Library?
Okay, so our Friends of the Library are amazing. They support us in so many ways, but yeah, they do support our big national author events, and you can support the Friends on our website. You can sign up for a Friends membership, and it's just $25 a year. And if you sign up, you get first dibs on tickets to our big author events like these. You get primo seating right up in front. And we have usually, not always, but a lot of times we'll have a pre-event for the Friends. So, so you can have an opportunity to meet our visiting authors at those events and have your book signed before.
Now, to clarify, are we going to be doing that for Brad Taylor?
Yes,
or
we
no?
are. We
oh,
are.
So
yeah.
get a Friends membership now so you can do it. You do want people to register, correct?
Yes, and you can register online on our website.
tscpl.org.
Yep.
Okay.
We still have spots open, so
Perfect.
so check it out.
Yep, Brad Taylor is going to be there on April 22nd in Marvin Auditorium at the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. Check out tscpl.org. They have a calendar of events on that site that is always filled with things going on, and you can stay busy until the next time you join us back here on the Red Couch. Again, you can see the videos from these and all of the friends who visit our studio, all of our guests on our Eye on Northeast Kansas segments on WIBW.com. Until next time, we'll see you on the Red Couch.